Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Playful Humans podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague, and my guest this week is Judith Keys. She is a cooking coach that helps people play with their food. That can be a ton of fun. So that's like online cook-alongs, cooking demos, interviews with local producers in Provence, France, which means that her website is myfoodinfrance.com. Go check it out if you want to learn more about French food and how to play with your food. If you want to learn how to be a more playful human, go to playfulhumans.com. I did not make that very hard for you at all. But there is a new quiz up there too. You can see how burned out you bored you are. All right, Judith, welcome to the podcast. We start with the joke of the week. The joke of the week this week is brought to you by stairs. I am not a fan of stairs. They're always up to something. Okay, what do you call a boy who finally stood up to the bullies at school?
I don't know. What do you call a boy who finally stood up to the bullies?
An ambulance. That's not a very good one, modern one. It was funny. All right, Judith, tell us about playing with your food and the work you're doing, helping people have fun with cooking.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Mike. It's really cool to be here. So I started this business back in not that long ago now. Actually, it's quite new because after I had my second kid, I realized that I wanted to have more fun. And my job that I'm doing now does not feel like a job. It feels like fun. So this felt like the perfect place to come and talk to people about that because it's possible. I turned 40 last year and thought, right, there's more to life than sitting at my desk all day. And so I created this new business where I help people have fun with food, make it, save money, save time, and just to have more confidence in the kitchen and to create stuff that they're going to love to eat, that their family's going to love to eat, friends, everybody.
I love that, the whole thing. And there's already so much to unpack there. I feel like a lot of people experienced a midlife renaissance, especially if you were 40 like us right during the pandemic. I think that kind of spurs a lot of emotions and a catalyst for change. But I'm interested to know more about the food side of things. Have you always been interested in food and cooking, or was this something that you discovered later in life?
I have always loved it. There are pictures of me as a kid making mud pies in my back garden. I remember as a kid, like pretending I was on TV doing cookery demos and stuff in the kitchen and talking to myself.
Nice.
So yeah, it has been a thing that has been a thread all throughout my whole life. I've loved it. And I always wanted to try and make a business out of it. I did have a side hustle when I used to live back in the UK. I had a corporate job 9 to 5, and then I came home in the evening and made cupcakes and sold those on the side. So and then I had a business here where I live in France is quite rural. So I set up an online VA business when I moved here, and that did really well. It was really successful, but I ended up back at a desk every day, Mike, 9 to 5.
Yeah, right.
And I loved it, and I was working for myself, but I just thought, and I love my clients, and I still have some of those clients. I'm so grateful for them, and I still run that business a little bit in the background. But the food stuff is my happy place and where I can have the most fun. So yeah.
I love and relate to all of that. I think sometimes even when businesses that you like take off, sometimes it becomes too much. And that's one thing that I found in my life is when I'm performing too much, and I'll record like 2 podcasts today, and I hosted 3 game shows last night. And then if I had something again tonight, I would be exhausted. I would have had a lot of fun along the way, but it's not like a sustainable amount of momentum. And I think same thing happens a lot with the office, and I work from home here and stuff. So if I don't get out of the house, I end up, like feeling claustrophobic and stuff, and I get anxious energy, or I start losing my mental energy as well, and just start kind of go from the office to the basement and watch TV and then back to bed and then start all over again. and it doesn't feel like there's enough change and interest in there to keep it interesting. Like you said, we both, hopefully we're doing this for decades to come. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of people miss that. They take one thing they like and they go to extremes, and then they lose and burn out on that. So
Yeah, and I
tell me
do
a
hope
little
we,
bit.
sorry, yeah, I hope my joy in this new thing, I hope I can take my time with it. And it is a lot more creative, and I use my hands, and I'm in the kitchen, I'm not staring at a screen. So I am moving about a lot more, because I totally get what you say about the anxious energy when you're just at a desk all day. So this feels different already. The fact that I'm going out to the local markets and getting nice produce and cooking in the kitchen, yeah, just feels different.
Well, that's kind of where I was going to go too with the game shows that I host. I love it because the questions are different every time and the contestants are different every time. So even if
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing the same thing and it's a bit of a routine for me, there's enough novelty in that. And I'm moving around. I walk like 2 miles in each show, just back and forth between the teams and around to the
Wow.
stage and props and everything. So I get like what you said about the shopping, and you're doing a lot of different stuff too. It's not like you're just making cupcakes now. You
Yeah.
get to do the cooking demos. You get to do record cook along videos or interview people or try new
Yeah.
recipes. And there's a lot of built-in novelty there, right?
It's so creative. Whilst before I was sort of creating for other people, this feels really different, because I'm the creative juices are flowing, to use a sort of foodie metaphor, but that I can also then share that with others. And like you say, there's loads of different ways that you can work with me. So I do like one-to-one secret weapon cookery classes, where I'll work with you to like make a really cool date night meal so that you can impress your other half. Or we'll do maybe make it together, so that then we go offline and your family walk in and you've got this beautiful meal displayed. So there's lots of different ways that I can help people create something really amazing, and I love that. And like you said, it changes every time. My cookery classes, I try and do, so I have a foodie membership, and the people who are in there, we do a cookery class every month, and we change it up every time. So either I'll decide what we're going to make, or they will submit recipes and say, I'd love to learn how to make this particular dish, and we'll do that together. So it's always changing, and that I think is so important, just to keep our minds fresh and sort of keep us
Yeah.
satisfied. And I don't know, yeah, just definitely that creative side needs to come out. So
I think food is also another interesting one because there's almost an unlimited amount of skills to master. So
yeah,
it's not like you learn baking and then you're done, you're a baker. Yeah, I mean, they're just the amount of different ways and methods and tools and all kinds of stuff that you can
yeah.
figure out and learn seems to be fairly unlimited. Is there
Yeah.
something that you specialize in or one that you still want to learn? What are kind of the most
Yeah.
interesting maybe methods for you?
Well, I definitely love baking. So I'm a really great cook in lots of different ways, but the cake side of thing is my favorite. So every year I'll make my nieces for their birthdays these amazing cakes, like anti-gravity things and stuff coming out of them. And
Nice.
I love doing those, and I get really inspired online with people's ideas. It's so cool. Um, But what stopped me actually having a physical foodie business here in France is, in France, they want you to have like a 3-year diploma. You can't just start making cupcakes and selling them. You have to learn basically everything about French patisserie. So that's something that's in the back of my mind that I would still really love to do, because, this is why I ended up doing this business online, because I wanted to share what I can do without having to go down that route. I mean, you need a massive investment of time and money to do that. And I thought, right, I can't do that yet, but it's parked for some time in the future. How cool would that be to spend
Wow.
3 years learning every single thing that you can learn from French patisserie? I mean, just be my dream. So yeah, someday I'm going to do that. Someday.
I didn't know you needed a master's degree to open a restaurant in France, but
Pretty much, yes.
that is interesting. And I guess we didn't talk about that part. Obviously, you mentioned being from the UK. So how'd you get to France?
So yeah, I was born in Belfast in Northern Ireland, which is both in Ireland and in the UK. So that we're sort of in
Hmm.
between. And we had always come on a holiday to France when I was a kid, and my parents ended up retiring here. And yeah, I think my sister moved here as well around 15, no, 20 years ago now. And I was the
Wow.
last one to come, really. I was working, as I said, in a corporate position at home, and just thought, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go for a few months. And my job, they let me take a sabbatical for 6 months, which was amazing at the time. It was
Wow.
back in 2012, and they let me take, yeah, 6 months off. And I came and just tried it out. I thought, I'm gonna go. It was so funny, Mike, because I just bought my house. I was doing all the things that you're meant to do as an adult, like you say on your
Hmm.
website, the whole adulting thing. We're all in this, rat race. We need to get a job and buy a house. And I bought my house and immediately went, I hate this, and left my job and moved to France. But yeah, I spent 6 months here and just thought, oh, I love it. I mean, I fulfilled what I had to do. I went back after the 6 months, went back to my job, and very, very quickly realized, no, I want to go back. So yeah, I just thought I'm gonna do it. And I suppose it was a little bit easier because I did have that safety net of my family here. But I just knew
Yeah.
I would be able to find something to do. I'd be able to find some work, and I'd also met my now husband in that six
Yeah.
month period. So he wasn't the only reason I came here, but he was a big part of it. So yeah, we're still together, have two little boys together, and yeah, just a really nice, pretty cool story.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that story. And I love what you mentioned that, I think so many people are like, well, what if it doesn't work or something? Well, then you just keep going. It's not like
Mhm.
you're going to never find a job again for the rest of your life. Like, I
Exactly.
imagine you could probably go back to the corporate world and get another 9 to 5
Yeah,
office job if you ever needed to
I know.
and
And
stuff.
thanks
Like, you
to,
figure it out.
COVID has been an awful, awful thing. But the positive side of it, if we can find one, is the online world now is even
Mhm.
more. I mean, the opportunities out there for online work, it's massive. And that is why I think I've done quite a few podcast appearances recently, and it's been so interesting to hear what you just said there about like it can be done. And I think I want to help people realize that, yeah, I mean, I didn't probably dot all the I's and cross all the T's perfectly. I just thought I'm just going to do it and see, and I'll find something, and I'll be okay. Not all of us have the luxury of being able to do that. Some people have responsibilities they can't get away from, but when you can, if you can take the chance, then it will probably be okay. And yeah, there'll be difficulties. I mean, I have had my share of challenges these past 10 years. It'll be in December, since I moved here. So I've had a lot of challenges, but I've made it work. And I don't think I would be in this position now if I hadn't gone through those challenges.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great message. And my favorite metaphor is that nobody gets all green lights on
Yeah.
their path to like their dream job or dream career. Like you're gonna hit some red lights. So might need to, even find some detours and ways around. But
Mhm.
that's okay. I think there are a lot of options, and I appreciate you sharing that message with everybody. I want to go back to the food though, because I'm imagining the same thing happens with food. How do you recommend people maybe start experimenting and learning, because it might not turn out well the first time, and you're not going to have all great super awesome dishes. How do you think those maybe micro lessons apply to the macro version of our life?
Yeah, I do think people can be put off by cooking if something goes wrong. It's like the first pancake always turns out rubbish, and they think, oh God, I can't make pancakes. And that is not the case. The first one's always a bit crap. So don't let it stop you. Keep going, keep trying different things. It's like exactly like you say, Mike. If it doesn't work the first time, that's only one time. I mean, think of every day, all the different things that you cook. Start with good ingredients if you can. But I did a session in my membership last night about meal planning, and we talked about tinned veg and frozen veg, which a lot of us are like, oh, we shouldn't have that. But actually, it's fine. It's, full of nutrients, full of good stuff. It's cheaper. We all need, help at the minute. So don't be afraid. If you have to use tinned things, go for it. Just use it, try and make it work, look up recipes, find stuff online, come and join my group. There's lots of really cool stuff in there, good, inspiring stuff. I want to make it easy. Take recipes and try them and tweak them, use things that you like. Every cookery class I do, the recipes can be tweaked. They're pretty much foolproof, I think. I don't want to do anything too perfect, because I don't teach any of that really complicated patisserie, because I don't want it to be out of reach for people. I want people to feel confident and that they can create a really gorgeous French apple tart, and it be simple, and it can look nice and rustic, and and that's fine.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. If it sounds good to you, go to myfoodinfrance.com and check it out. Now, I wanted to ask you, I love the high-low question. So maybe what is like the pinnacle of your cooking career? You mentioned the anti-gravity cakes and stuff. I think that's awesome. And I love cake. What was maybe like a low point? Was there a disaster or something that you remember too? What's the high and the low?
Oh, a disaster. Oh, there've been quite a few. Yeah. I mean, I do have some things that I really still, after so many years of cooking and practicing, still can't really do very well. So pastry is one of those things. I'm not amazing with pastry, I have to say. I've had quite a few disasters with, even though I had the most wonderful, amazing grandmother who taught me from a very young age how to make pastry, have the most wonderful French mother-in-law who keeps telling me how easy it is, and I still manage to pretty much mess it up about half of the time. So do not let it stop me, Mike. Still do it. I still make it. It's cheaper than buying the ready-made stuff from the shops. Just put a bit of flour and butter together.
Mine is the old saute flip. Like I can't commit to it. I can, I can flip a good pancake. I always burn the last one, by the way. You mentioned pancakes. My first one's beautiful. My last one, I'm eating pancakes because I want to eat them while they're warm, and I burn the last one. But what about your high point? What do you feel like was the best thing you ever made?
The best thing I ever made was, oh God, you're going to get me emotional now. Probably my best friend's wedding cake. My best friend, Emma, we went to primary school together. So that's, I think, kindergarten, I think, is that what we call it in the US? And she got married probably around 10 years ago now, actually. I should get that right. And she asked me if I would make her wedding cakes, her wedding cake and the brownies for all her guests. She wanted chocolate orange brownies for, I think it was 150 people.
Nice. Good call.
And everything turned out, it was such pressure, Mike. Like, I was so scared. Imagine making somebody's wedding cake. And it was just perfect. It turned out beautiful and everybody loved the brownies. Yeah, that was a particular high point, I have to say.
Oh, sweet. We did cupcakes at our wedding rather than the big wedding cake. And we had a place that won Cupcake Wars out in San Diego and stuff. And it was amazing. So good. And so much more fun. I feel like, to have several different, fillings and cakes and stuff to choose from.
Yeah.
Now, here's the last one. What's on your fun bucket list? I guess you already mentioned, like, getting certified there in France, but is there anything else that would be like your dream experience or something that you still want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to experience foodie culture in lots of different places. I love the idea of travel and food, and just getting to do cookery classes in lots of different places. I would love to do that. I've already done quite a few cookery classes back in the UK when I lived there, but I would love to travel more and try the food and get immersed in that all over the place. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to do that. In particular, where would I love to go in particular? I'd love to spend some time in Italy. Actually, I've been there before, and the food was as amazing as people say it is.
I'm a big, Italian food fan for sure.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you one, not to stereotype, but since you're from Ireland, I feel like they have the lowest bar for food. What's the best Irish recipe?
That is terrible, Mike. You should not say that. We are so much better than people think. The foodie culture in Northern Ireland, and probably in the South as well, is unbelievable now. We have such amazing produce. It is literally a little island full of beautiful grass and lots of rain and really good meat and vegetables, thanks to that climate. And my cousin actually runs the most amazing cafe called Babushka in the northeast of Northern Ireland. If you're ever there, and his food is unbelievable, and he gets all his stuff from local producers there. So if you're ever in Northern Ireland, definitely go and check that out. And what would be the top Northern Irish dish? I want to say Irish stew, just because it's such a classic and you cannot go wrong. You really can't. It's just gorgeous. That's one of those easy ones. Put it all in. Delicious.
It's definitely soup time of year here in America, at least. So I think that's great. And I'm glad I gave you a chance to clear up that stereotype. I'm glad that I asked. All right. Do you want to play a game?
Oh, I would love to.
All right, we're going to spin our wheel of games. There are 10 games that it could land on, and surprise, you got 2 truths and a lie. 2 truths and a lie is where you say 2 fun facts about yourself mixed in with 1 lie, and then you try to guess the lie, or I'll try and guess the lie for you. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right, let's hear them.
Okay. I have lived in Spain. I have seen Beyonce sing live. And I've written a cookbook.
Oh, man, this one seems plausible. I'm going to say you haven't written the cookbook yet.
How did you guess?
Yeah,
it is my dream, Mike. That is the next thing on the list, is to write a cookbook. I do have a little notebook thing that I've created, a little My Food in France.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Notebook. So I've got that. But yeah, I really, really want to write a cookbook. So nice one. Well done.
I'm right with you on that. I've written other books and some ebooks and stuff, but I am working on the official Playful Humans book right now. Hopefully it's coming out soon. Now for me, I decided to go all food questions for you here. So I have eaten an entire large pizza by myself in one sitting. I have never eaten peanut butter. And I have cooked a food with methane gas off of a latrine before.
Oh my goodness. So I have to choose the lie?
Yeah.
Surely you've eaten peanut butter before.
Yeah, there you go. Not on purpose, but I do not like peanut butter. I thought I might fool you there because if I was allergic or something, maybe.
Yes, I did wonder about that. I thought, is there a reason? But oh my goodness, you do not like peanut butter, Mike? Wow. I don't think I know anybody.
It's just the one thing. It's like my kryptonite, and people sneak it into other things like pastas and Rice Krispie treats and things, and you're like, why would you ruin that for me? So that's awesome. Well, we both got it, which means you win. You get a free 30-second commercial here. The podcast is yours. Anything that we can do to help you or you can do to help us? I would just love people to come and join the group. So I have a free group over on Facebook. It's called My Food in France. A bit like you, I've made it easy for everybody. My Food in France. You can find me anywhere with that hashtag or handle on Insta. But yeah, the free Facebook group is probably the best place to come. There's lots of stuff going on in there, lots of chat about food and France. So come and find me in there. Sounds amazing. myfoodinfrance.com. That's Judith Keys. And until next time, if you want to learn more about Playful Humans, maybe subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening or watching to it. Go to playfulhumans.com, take one of our playfulness quizzes, and share this episode with somebody that you think needs to hear it. Maybe somebody's been dreaming about taking that cooking job or that cooking class, or maybe they just need more fun and inspiration. They're feeling a little burned out and bored and need some inspiration to rediscover the power of play. Appreciate you for listening.
Yeah.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep on chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
Go play, everybody. Hey, you did it. You made it to the end. But don't worry, there are plenty of more videos where that came from. Just click subscribe to Playful Humans to get notified about our future videos. Now, what are you still doing here? Go play.